5. The power of not taking action. In a world that constantly glorifies busyness, many people believe that success requires continuous action. We are taught that if we want to achieve something, we must do more, move faster, and push harder. Yet there is a truth that very few people realize: not every action creates progress, and sometimes the wisest thing you can do is nothing at all. Stoic philosophy clearly understood the difference between effective action and action driven by anxiety. Many people are not truly acting in pursuit of their goals, they are simply reacting to fear. They work endlessly because they are afraid of falling behind. They make rushed decisions because they fear missing opportunities. They stay constantly busy because silence makes them uncomfortable. But being busy is not the same as being productive. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in the ground. After sowing them, he does not dig them up every day to check whether they have started growing. He waters them, cares for the soil, and patiently waits. He understands that some processes in life require time to develop. If he tries to force the outcome, he will only destroy what he has planted. Life operates according to the same principle. There are moments that require decisive action, but there are also moments when you must step back and allow things to unfold naturally. Not every door opens through force. Some doors open only through patience. The Stoics understood that not every problem requires an immediate response. Not every criticism deserves an answer. Not every opportunity must be seized at once. Sometimes silence carries more power than words. Sometimes waiting is the wisest strategy available. Think of a master chess player. They do not move a piece simply to feel like they are doing something. They observe, think, and patiently wait for the right moment. Every move has a purpose. It is this restraint that gives them their strength. Life is no different. When you learn not to react to every stimulus, you begin making wiser decisions. When you stop forcing outcomes, you create space for unexpected solutions to emerge. When you no longer act from panic, you begin acting from clarity. This does not mean abandoning your goals or becoming passive. It means knowing when to move forward and when to wait. Knowing when to push and when to let go. It is the art of balancing action with trust. Today, take a moment to observe your own life. Is there something you are trying to force? Is there a decision you are making out of fear rather than wisdom? Sometimes the answer is not found in doing one more thing. Sometimes the answer lies in stopping, taking a deep breath, and giving life the opportunity to arrange things in its own time. Because the strongest person is not always the one who takes the most action. Sometimes it is the one who is calm enough to know when no action is needed. 6. Gratitude attracts abundance. In life, most people spend the majority of their time focusing on what they do not have. They think about the money they still need, the goals they have not yet achieved, the opportunities they missed, or the things other people possess. And the more they focus on what is lacking, the more they feel that their lives are incomplete. But the Stoic philosophers viewed the world in a completely different way. They believed that gratitude is not merely a virtue, it is a powerful force capable of transforming the way we experience life. When you genuinely appreciate what you already have, you begin to see abundance instead of scarcity. And from that state of mind, prosperity begins to grow. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that each day was a gift. Even when faced with difficult people, challenging circumstances, or situations that did not go as planned, he found reasons to appreciate life. He understood that happiness does not come from having everything be perfect, it comes from recognizing the value in what already exists. Imagine two people waking up on the same morning. One immediately thinks about the bills that need to be paid, the problems that must be solved, and everything that is still missing. The other begins the day by being grateful for their health, for the opportunity to keep moving forward, and for the loved ones in their life. Both people live in the same world, yet they experience life in completely different ways. Gratitude does not mean denying difficulties or pretending that everything is wonderful. Stoic philosophy does not encourage blind optimism. Instead, it teaches us to face reality honestly while still finding something worth appreciating in every situation. Even the greatest challenges can become sources of strength when viewed through the right perspective. When you are grateful for the lessons hidden within failure, you become wiser. When you are grateful for the hardships you have overcome, you become stronger. When you appreciate the small blessings in life, you begin to recognize a wealth that was always there but often unnoticed. The remarkable power of gratitude is that it changes your inner state. Instead of constantly feeling deprived, you begin to feel that you already have much to be thankful for. And when your mind enters a state of abundance, you make better decisions, it builds stronger relationships, and recognize opportunities that others overlook. Take a few minutes each evening to reflect on the things you are grateful for that day. Perhaps it was a delicious meal, a meaningful conversation, a new opportunity, or simply the fact that you are still here, continuing your journey. These small moments are the foundation of a prosperous life. The Stoics understood that true wealth does not begin with external possessions. It begins with a heart that appreciates what it already has. When you learn the art of gratitude, you realize that life has given you far more than you once believed. And from that sense of abundance, even greater blessings continue to find their way to you. 7. Mastering your emotions. One of the greatest powers a person can develop is not the ability to control others, but the ability to control themselves. In life, we cannot prevent unexpected events from happening. We cannot force other people to behave the way we want. But we always have the power to choose how we respond to any situation. This is one of the fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy. Many people live as though their emotions are the masters of their lives. When they face criticism, they become angry. When they encounter failure, they fall into despair. When difficulties arise, they allow fear to dictate their decisions. Over time, they become victims of the very emotions they cannot control. But the Stoic philosophers understood that emotions are not the enemy. They are simply signals. The problem is not feeling anger, sadness, or anxiety. The problem arises when we allow those emotions to control our actions and decisions. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once observed that people often suffer more in their imagination than they do in reality. An event is simply an event. It is our interpretation of that event that creates most of our suffering or our peace. Imagine two people being rejected for the same important opportunity. The first sees it as proof that they are not good enough. They become discouraged and lose motivation. The second feels disappointed as well, but views the experience as a lesson. They analyze what went wrong, improve themselves, and continue moving forward. The circumstances are identical, yet the outcomes are completely different. The difference lies in emotional mastery. The Stoics did not deny their emotions. They did not try to suppress them or pretend to be stronger than they were. Instead, they allowed themselves to experience their emotions honestly. But rather than reacting immediately, they took time to observe and reflect. When anger appeared, they asked themselves, "Why am I reacting this way?" When fear arose, they asked, "What is the worst that could realistically happen?" When sadness appeared, they searched for the lesson hidden within the experience. In this way, emotions became messengers rather than commanders. A person who has mastered their emotions does not allow the words of others to determine their self-worth. They do not let temporary setbacks disturb their inner peace. They understand that emotions come and go like clouds passing through the sky. But the sky itself remains. When you learn to master your inner world, you discover an extraordinary source of strength. You no longer react impulsively to every situation. You are no longer swept away by temporary emotional waves. Instead, you act with calmness, clarity, and intention. The Stoics believe that true freedom does not come from controlling external circumstances. It comes from maintaining inner peace regardless of what is happening around you. And when you learn to master your emotions, you will not only change the way you live, you will transform the entire quality of your life. 8. The philosophy of enough. We live in a world that constantly encourages people to have more money, more success, more recognition, and more possessions. Every day, we are surrounded by messages that make us believe happiness is always somewhere ahead, waiting in the next goal, the next achievement, or the next milestone. Yet it is this endless pursuit that leaves so many people feeling empty. They achieve what they once dreamed of, only to discover that the satisfaction lasts for a short while before a new desire takes its place. So they keep running, keep chasing, and keep feeling as though they never have enough. The Stoic philosophers recognized this cycle more than 2,000 years ago. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in ancient Rome, famously said that the poor person is not the one who has little, but the one who always wants more. Within that statement lies a profound truth. True wealth is not measured by what you possess, but by the sense of completeness within your mind. The philosophy of enough does not mean abandoning ambition or giving up on personal growth. The Stoics did not promote laziness or complacency. They continued to pursue meaningful goals and work to improve themselves every day. But they understood that the value of life does not depend on how much one acquires. Imagine someone who believes they can only be happy after reaching a higher position, earning more money, or receiving recognition from others. Such a person will always live in a state of scarcity. Because the moment one goal is achieved, another goal takes its place, and the feeling of not being enough returns. In contrast, a person who appreciates what they already have experiences abundance even while continuing to grow. They may desire more, but they do not depend on those desires for their happiness. They understand that peace is not found at the destination, it is found in the way they experience the journey. The remarkable thing is that when you genuinely feel that you are enough, you stop acting from fear and desperation. You no longer feel compelled to prove your worth to anyone. You begin making decisions from a place of confidence rather than deficiency. And paradoxically, that state of mind often attracts more opportunities, stronger relationships, and greater success into your life. The Stoics understood that happiness is not the result of possessing more. Happiness is the ability to recognize the abundance that already exists. A healthy body, a home to return to, loved ones by your side, or simply the opportunity to wake up each morning. These are priceless gifts that we often overlook. Tonight, before going to sleep, take a few moments to reflect on your life. Think about what you already have rather than what is missing. Notice the richness that exists within the ordinary moments of your day. Because when you stop chasing the feeling of not enough, you discover a powerful truth. You already have more than you realize. And from that realization, the life of genuine peace, freedom, and prosperity can truly begin. 9. Living authentically. One of the greatest tragedies in life is not failure, it is spending your entire life becoming someone you never truly wanted to be. Many people live according to the expectations of their families, society, or those around them. They choose careers to please others. They hide their true thoughts to gain acceptance. They wear so many different masks that, over time, they forget who they really are beneath them. Stoic philosophy teaches that true freedom begins when you have the courage to live according to your own nature. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that he could avoid many troubles if he stopped caring so much about what others said or thought about him. This is an incredibly profound lesson, because much of human suffering does not come from reality itself, it comes from the fear of being judged. We fear rejection. We fear criticism. We fear being different. As a result, many people choose to blend into the crowd rather than remain true to themselves. But the price of gaining acceptance from others is often the loss of one's own identity. Take a moment to reflect. How many of your decisions have genuinely come from your own desires? And how many have simply been attempts to meet the expectations of others? The Stoics understood that life is too short to live according to someone else's script. They did not seek perfection in the eyes of the world. Instead, they focused on living in alignment with their own values, principles, and conscience. Living authentically does not mean becoming selfish or disregarding other people. It does not mean saying whatever comes to mind without concern for how it affects others. On the contrary, it means expressing your true self with honesty, respect, and courage. When you live out of alignment with who you truly are, then internal conflict emerges. One part of you wants to move forward, while another part is constantly trying to please everyone else. That conflict drains your energy, leaves you feeling lost, and makes inner peace difficult to find. But when you begin living authentically, everything starts to change. You no longer have to remember which mask you are wearing. You no longer need to constantly seek approval from others. You become more confident because you are no longer fighting against yourself. The remarkable thing about authenticity is that it acts like a magnet. It attracts the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences for your journey. Some people may not understand you. Some relationships may fade away. But what remains will be what truly belongs in your life. The Stoics believe that every person is born with a unique nature and a unique path. When you stop trying to become the version that the world expects and start becoming the most genuine version of yourself, you discover a strength that no praise or recognition can ever provide. Today, ask yourself one simple question. If I were not afraid of being judged, how would I live differently? The answer to that question may be the doorway to a life that is freer, more meaningful, and more peaceful. Because in the end, the greatest success is not being accepted by the entire world. The greatest success is being able to look in the mirror each day and know that you are living as your true self. 10. Trusting the timing of life. One of the greatest causes of human suffering is the desire for everything to happen according to our own timetable. We want success to come faster. We want opportunities to arrive sooner. We want today's efforts to produce results tomorrow. And when life fails to follow that schedule, we begin to doubt ourselves, to lose patience, and feel discouraged. But Stoic philosophy teaches us an important lesson: not every good thing arrives when we want it to. Many blessings appear only when we are truly ready to receive them. Marcus Aurelius believed that every event in life has its own place and timing within the natural order of the universe. This does not mean sitting back and waiting for miracles to happen. On the contrary, the Stoics continued to act with purpose and determination every day. But they understood that the final outcome is not always within their control. Think of a seed planted in the soil. You can water it, nurture it, and protect it from harm. But you cannot force it to grow by pulling on its stem every day. Some processes require time. Some lessons must be learned. Some growth must occur before the harvest can appear. Life works the same way. Many people abandon their dreams because they believe they are moving too slowly. They look at the success of others and wonder why their own lives have not yet changed. What they fail to see is that everyone is walking a different path. What comes early for one person may arrive later for another. And that does not mean you are failing. The Stoics understood that delay is not always denial. Sometimes it is preparation. A door that has not yet opened does not mean it will never open. It may simply mean that life is still preparing you to become strong enough, wise enough, or mature enough for what lies ahead. When you trust the timing of life, you stop fighting against what is happening. You no longer waste energy resenting the present or worrying excessively about the future. Instead, you focus on the one thing you can control: your actions today. This creates a unique kind of peace. You still have goals. You still keep moving forward. But you are no longer obsessed with speed or outcomes. You understand that every step matters, even when the destination has not yet come into view. Think back to some of the most difficult moments in your past. At the time, you may have believed that everything was working against you. Yet looking back now, many of those seemingly negative experiences may have been the very lessons that helped you grow. Closed doors led you toward better paths. Delays protected you from poor decisions. Setbacks prepared you for greater opportunities. This is why the Stoics learned to trust the process of life. They understood that not everything needs to be understood immediately. Some answers reveal themselves only after enough time has passed. So if today you feel as though your progress is slow, do not lose hope. Keep planting the seeds. Keep developing yourself. Keep taking action to the best of your ability. And one day, you may look back and realize that everything unfolded exactly when it needed to. Because life does not always give you what you want when you want it. but very often it gives you what you need precisely when you are ready to receive it. 11. Final conclusion. In the end, Stoic philosophy does not promise that life will become easier. It does not claim that you will never face failure, loss, or unexpected challenges. What it offers is something far more valuable, the ability to maintain inner peace and strength regardless of your circumstances. The 10 principles we have explored all point toward one fundamental truth: happiness, success, and prosperity do not begin with what happens outside of you. They begin with how you think, how you respond, and how well you master yourself. When you learn to desire without attachment, live fully in the present moment, embrace obstacles as part of the journey, and build your power from within, you cease to be a victim of circumstances. When you know when to act and when to be patient, when to appreciate what you have and how to master your emotions, life gradually becomes lighter and more meaningful. The Stoics understood that true wealth is not measured by the amount of money you possess, but by the peace you carry within. True success is not found in being recognized by the entire world, but in living according to your values. And true power does not come from controlling the world around you, it comes from controlling yourself. Today, you choose to carry at least one of these principles into your life. A small shift in your thinking can create profound changes in your future. Remember this. When you master your mind, master your emotions, and trust the process of life, you do more than attract better circumstances. You become the strongest, most peaceful, and most authentic version of yourself. And that is the greatest success that Stoic philosophy seeks to offer each of us. Life will always contain things that are beyond our control. There will be plans that do not unfold as expected, doors that close, and challenges that appear when we least anticipate them. But as the Stoic sages taught, true strength does not come from controlling the external world, it comes from mastering the world within. When you learn to let go of desperation, live fully in the present moment, embrace obstacles, control your emotions, and trust the process of life, you begin to realize that what you have been searching for was never far away. It has always existed within you. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to become wiser, stronger, and more peaceful. You do not need to change everything overnight. All it takes is one small step at a time, one wise choice after another, and each moment you return to mastering yourself. If this video has brought value to you, take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with others who are on their own journey of personal growth. Your support helps us continue spreading the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy to more people around the world. Leave a comment below. Which of today's 10 principles made you reflect the most? Thank you for staying with us until the end of this video. And always remember, you cannot control everything that happens in life, but you can always control how you respond to it. And that is where true power begins. See you in the next video. Have you ever felt like you're trying too hard, yet the results still don't meet your expectations? Modern society constantly pushes us to work more, move faster, and fight relentlessly for success. People say that if you want more, you have to try harder. But what if that very stress and desperation are what are actually holding you back from achieving what you desire? More than 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophers discovered a very different truth. They believed that real strength does not come from forcing life to obey your will, but from mastering yourself and aligning with the natural flow of life. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful emperor of Rome, once reminded himself to focus on the present moment. He understood that when people stop resisting what they cannot control and learn to accept reality, they find peace, clarity, and opportunities they had never noticed before. Think of a river. Water does not fight the rocks in its path. Instead, it patiently flows around them, through them, and ultimately shapes the landscape itself. This is the strength that Stoic philosophy teaches us, the power of calmness, resilience, and trust in the process of life. In this video, we will explore 10 profound Stoic principles that will help you release pressure, master your mind, and create a more successful and abundant life from within. 1. The art of desiring without attachment. There is a strange paradox in life that almost everyone has experienced. The more desperately we want something, the farther away it seems to become. The tighter we try to hold on, the more likely it is to slip through our fingers. Whether it is love, money, a success, or recognition, desperation often becomes the greatest barrier between us and what we desire. More than 2,000 years ago, Stoic philosophy recognized this truth. The Stoic sage Epictetus taught that true wealth is not found in possessing more, but in being free from excessive desires. This does not mean abandoning your dreams or living without ambition. On the contrary, Stoicism teaches us how to pursue our goals without sacrificing our inner peace. Imagine holding a butterfly in the palm of your hand. If you squeeze it tightly to keep it from leaving, you may harm it or cause it to fly away. But if you keep your hand open, gentle, and calm, the butterfly may stay longer than you expect. Many of the best things in life work in much the same way. Many people place their entire sense of self-worth on outcomes. They believe that only after achieving a goal are they worthy of happiness. Only after earning enough money, finding love, or receiving recognition from others do they feel valuable. Yet this mindset creates pressure, anxiety, and a constant fear of failure. The Stoics chose a different path. They still had goals. They still worked hard every day. But they refused to let their happiness depend entirely on the final result. They understood that what lies beyond their control should never determine their inner peace. When you learn to desire without becoming attached, a profound transformation begins to take place. You no longer act from fear or a sense of lack. Instead, you act from confidence and a feeling of abundance. You stop desperately chasing opportunities and begin to notice the opportunities that have been around you all along. The remarkable thing is that when you stop forcing life to unfold exactly according to your plans, you create space for even better possibilities to emerge. Sometimes what you want does not arrive in the form you imagine, but it comes in a way that is far more aligned with your growth and purpose. Try applying this principle today. Think about the most important goal you are currently pursuing. Then tell yourself, I will do my very best to achieve this, but I will remain at peace even if things unfold differently than I expected. The moment you can truly embrace that mindset, you are no longer a slave to desire. You become its master. And that is when real power begins to emerge. 2. The magnetic power of the present moment. Most people spend their lives in a place where they cannot change anything. They devote countless hours to dwelling on mistakes from the past or worrying about what might happen in the future. Meanwhile, the only moment that truly belongs to them, the present, is often overlooked. Stoic philosophy teaches that human power exists only in the present moment. The past is gone and cannot be changed. The future has not yet arrived, and no one can know with certainty what it will bring. The only thing we truly possess is the moment unfolding right now. Seneca once wrote that true happiness is enjoying the present without anxious dependence on the future. This is not merely philosophical advice, it is a principle that can completely transform the way we experience life. Think about it for a moment. How many opportunities have been missed because your mind was occupied with worry? How many meaningful conversations have you failed to fully hear because you were thinking about something else? How many beautiful moments have slipped away without you even noticing them? When the mind is constantly pulled toward the past or the future, we lose the ability to recognize the opportunities standing right in front of us. But when we become fully present, something remarkable begins to happen. You become more aware of life. You notice signs and possibilities that you once ignored. You hear your intuition more clearly. You begin to see doors that previously seemed invisible. The most magnetic people are often not the busiest or the most stressed. They are the ones who are fully present in each moment. When they speak with someone, they genuinely listen. When they work, they focus completely. When they enjoy life, they are not distracted by thousands of competing thoughts. That is why presence creates attraction. It turns you into a source of stability in a world filled with noise and chaos. And people are naturally drawn to that sense of calm. The fascinating part is that when you stop obsessing over the future, you actually begin creating a better one. When you focus on the small actions you can take today, great results gradually emerge over time. Success is not created tomorrow, it is built through the choices you make today. So whenever you notice your mind drifting toward thoughts of what if or if only, bring yourself back to the present. Take a deep breath. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Observe what is happening around you. Because the miracle of life is not waiting in tomorrow. It is happening right now. And your greatest power exists within this very moment. 3. Embracing obstacles. No one can live a life completely free of difficulties. No matter who you are, what goals you pursue, or how talented you may be, obstacles will appear along your journey. Delayed plans, unexpected failures, rejection, loss, and unwanted challenges are all inevitable parts of life. However, the difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not the number of hardships they encounter. It is how they choose to view those hardships. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This is one of the most powerful ideas in Stoic philosophy. It reminds us that obstacles are not barriers to our growth. In many cases, obstacles are the very tools that help us grow strong. Most people respond to difficulties with frustration or anger. They ask themselves why such things are happening to them. They see challenges as signs that life is going in the wrong direction. But Stoics see things differently. They understand that life owes no one an easy path. Challenges are not punishments, they are opportunities to develop inner strength. Think of a sword being forged in fire. Without extreme heat and the repeated blows of the blacksmith's hammer, it would remain nothing more than a useless piece of metal. Human beings are no different. It is through the hardships we overcome that we develop the character, wisdom, and resilience that success demands. Every obstacle contains a lesson. Every failure holds an opportunity for reflection and growth. Sometimes a closed door is not meant to stop you, it is meant to guide you toward a better path. Sometimes a delay is simply the preparation required for something greater that lies ahead. When you stop resisting reality and learn to accept what is happening, you conserve an enormous amount of energy. Instead of wasting time complaining or blaming circumstances, you begin focusing on what you can actually do. You move from a state of reaction to a state of action. The next time you face an unexpected challenge, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what is the lesson here? How is this making me stronger? By making that simple shift in perspective, an obstacle no longer appears as a wall blocking your path. It becomes a stepping stone that helps you rise higher. The Stoics understood that not every storm arrives to destroy your life. Many storms appear to clear the path ahead. And sometimes, what seems like your greatest obstacle turns out to be the greatest gift life could have given you. 4. Inner power. One of the greatest mistakes people make is handing over control of their lives to external circumstances. We allow our mood to depend on praise or criticism from others. We let our confidence rise and fall with the amount of money in our bank accounts. We allow our happiness to be determined by circumstances, outcomes, or recognition from the outside world. But Stoic philosophy teaches a powerful truth: a real strength does not lie in what happens outside of you, it lies in how you respond to it. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No one can harm you without your permission." This idea is not only about emotional pain. It is a reminder that the greatest power any person possesses is the ability to govern their inner world. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll be happy when I earn more money," or "I'll feel successful when other people recognize me"? Every time you think this way, you unknowingly place the key to your happiness in the hands of other people or circumstances beyond your control. It is an exhausting way to live. The external world is constantly changing. Today you may be praised, tomorrow you may be criticized. Today your work may be thriving, tomorrow you may face setbacks. If your peace depends on such things, life will always feel like an unpredictable roller coaster. The Stoics chose a different path. They understood that self-worth does not come from fame, wealth, or recognition. It comes from character, virtue, and self-mastery. They refuse to let circumstances dictate their emotions. Instead, they chose how to respond regardless of the situation. When you reclaim your inner power, a profound transformation takes place. You no longer live in fear of rejection. You no longer need everyone's approval to feel valuable. You begin acting according to your own principles rather than the opinions of the crowd. This does not mean becoming indifferent to life or abandoning the pursuit of success. On the contrary, you still work hard. You still set ambitious goals. But you no longer allow outcomes to define who you are. Success becomes a reward, not the source of your self-worth. People who possess inner power carry a unique presence. They remain calm under pressure, resilient in the face of adversity, and difficult to shake when external circumstances change. They understand that the world may take away many things, but no one can take away the peace they have built within themselves. Today, before seeking validation from others, take a moment to ask yourself, how do I want to feel regardless of my current circumstances? When you learn to create your own peace, generate your own sense of worth, and cultivate happiness from within, you discover a source of strength that no one can take away from you. That is the essence of inner power, the foundation of a life that is free, resilient, and deeply fulfilling according to the Stoic way of living.